Howdy folks, and welcome to the 12th episode of the Maddfuzzy Podcast. This is a podcast all about knitting and spinning and hand-dyeing yarn, as well as a few homestead crafts sprinkled in for fun. I am your host, Marta. I am coming to you, as always, from Knox, Maine, where I live with my handsome man, his wonderful mother, and our two amazing dogs. If you are just joining us, welcome to the podcast. I am so excited that you stopped by. If you are tuning in again, welcome back. It's so good to see you. It's so good to talk to you again. These podcasts are a lot less frequent these days, but I am so thankful that you bear with my erratic recording schedule and tune in every couple of weeks to a month. Yeah, so welcome back. If you are new, you can find me on the internet as @Maddfuzzy, and that would be for Instagram. If you are on Ravelry, I am Maddfuzzy as well, and there is a Maddfuzzy Ravelry group. So if you want to join that group, it is a bustling group now. We have over 100 members, and we would love if you would stop by. And if you are looking to email me directly, feel free. My email is maddfuzzy@gmail.com. But back to that Ravelry group. So we have a couple exciting things happening in our Ravelry group right now. First of which is a giveaway that is quickly coming to a close, not because of any dates, but because we are reaching almost 100 introductions. I have been saying I am going to give away a skein of Maddfuzzy Into the Mystic to one of the first 100 introductions in our Ravelry group, and we have 94. So be those last 6, get in there, introduce yourself. Once we hit 100, I am going to random number generate one out of the first 2, because I'm number 1, 2 to 90, 2 to 101. And yeah, we'll get it all drawn out and I'll send that out. I'm so excited to. And then we also have my first KAL going on in the Ravelry group, which is the People KAL, #People KAL. And that is a knit along all about supporting my fellow podcasters out there. So if you're using a bag, a stitch marker, a pattern, a yarn that is made by a podcaster, I do invite you to join in the chatter thread as well as post that finished objects in the finished objects thread. And be sure to say who the podcaster is and where you can find their podcast, because I would love for that finished objects thread to just be kind of a Rolodex of new and exciting podcasts, which it already is. We have probably 15 entries in the finished objects thread, and so yeah, go through and see all these other amazing podcasts. I have found some new ones myself, which I'm really excited about. I find this is even better than letting YouTube pick what's next. So go on, hop over there. I will be drawing prizes. I am putting together quite the prize basket for it, I think, because it is my first KAL. It has to be something super special. So it's going to include a set of, I believe they're called blackthorn needles in 2.5 millimeter. I'll, of course, double check all of this, but they're 100% carbon fiber. So I'll be throwing that in, as well as a skein of Maddfuzzy and some local goodness from around my area. So I'll be sure to show you that whole big prize package on the next episode, but I just didn't have it in me to get it all together because of some Maddfuzzy news, which I will, of course, be telling you all about in the Maddfuzzy section of this podcast. So I believe that's all my introduction and administrative stuff I have for you today. Go on over to that Ravelry group. Put your name in the introduction, see if you can't win that skein, and join along in our People KAL. The rules are in each of the threads, both the chatter and the finished object, and join in the fun. It's very exciting. So my first KAL, yay! Okay, on to the important part of this podcast, which is, of course, the knitting. And I've been fairly monogamous. I have not cast on a whole lot. But I have finished up a whole lot. So I do have a finished objects this week. I have finished my Regia Perfect, or Perfect. So, oh, my sun just went away. Geez, but it still makes this looks pretty good. So it's one of those yarns with all the patterns. I do a slip stitch heel, even though the image on it always shows like a short row heel. I didn't get the pink that went all the way through here like it shows on the image, but I don't mind. I did get to a nice pink toe. So there is the one on blockers. And here is its mate. Yay! These are my second pair in my box of socks. So 2 pairs in 2018 so far. And January just ended. And I think I actually finished these slightly before January. I just haven't gotten all of my, ducks in a row to record a podcast for you. But I have an empty house today. So I took the chance to record. I had a very busy morning, which I will tell you all about in Maddfuzzy news because I have been all about Maddfuzzy these last couple of weeks. Yeah, a new pair of socks for me. Oh, I love it when they're for me. You can never have enough socks. So then on to my next knitting project, which is a hoe. Yes, I have finished the first sock of my Stern Tailor socks by Becky Sorensen of the Stringing It Together podcast and Soprano Knits on both Instagram and Ravelry. The yarn I am using again is String Theory in their blue stocking base, which is a BFL nylon base. And this color is just so gorgeous. This was a Christmas gift and they're fitting. I finished it, so I had to try it on. They are a little bit bigger than what I usually like for my socks, but just not big enough for me to not keep them. So this is a great pattern. This is my entry into my own KAL. This is my People KAL entry. When they're finished, we do have some time to finish up objects. That KAL is running till April 15th. But this has this wonderful, let's see if we can't pull it out this way. It has this great seed stitch panel across the front, right? And then it has this great seam stitch or seed stitch panel across the back. And both of them, they fade out as you get here. This is a free pattern by Becky that you can get if you sign up for her e-newsletter. And I did, of course, because I want to know everything that's going on with her life. She's fantastic. And her designs, oh my goodness, up-and-coming designer for sure. Especially for socks. And that's always what I'm looking for. It's a fun pattern. It went really fast. The detail in the front and the back made it very easy to just keep going. One more row, one more row. The yarn was a pleasure to work with. I do like String Theory. And yeah, so I have one finished. And I am fairly close. There's a nice close-up of that seed stitch pattern without it being on the blocker and on the back. But I am definitely nearly to the heel on this, and I am so excited. These are going to be great. These will be my third pair for my box of socks. And I do recommend the pattern for sure. One thing about it, and maybe it's just a personal preference, but it's got 1x1 twisted rib at the top. And I don't know. It doesn't really do the job that rib is supposed to do. I mean, it looks cool. I really like the look, but I'm a function girl. You know that. So I want something that's really going to hold my socks up. And I'm not feeling this 1x1 twisted rib is doing what I want it to do. So I think when I do vanilla socks, I am not converted, but it is nice to have one pair with it, and I don't have to do it again because I have 2. So that's all you need to do. Awesome. So those are my real works in progress / oh my. Well, I'll tell you about it when I get a little further on. I just did like this much of a Maddfuzzy sock. So for the sake of time, maybe I will leave it downstairs and I'll show you on the next episode. And it'll actually be like a sock maybe. Or I suppose if I don't get my act together and podcast fairly soon, it would be a finished object. You never know. So I hear you say, though, Marta, what about those gorgeous colorwork mittens you were so excited to make? Well, friends, I put in probably a good 5 hours on them. I am not the fastest colorwork chart reader, and I was reading it on my little iPhone, and I couldn't see the whole chart at a time. So I think that was really screwing me up. Also, I had made the black-white yarn, so then the white-purple yarn. So I had to like switch it in my brain, which took a lot more concentration than I thought. So I think what I need to do is I need to take the PDF, I need to inverse it so it has the colors that I'm doing. I can do that in Photoshop easily. And then print it out so I actually have a piece of paper with the chart that I can like put post-it notes over and see the whole chart at once. So that's the first thing that needs to happen. The second thing that needs to happen is I have to start it again because I put it on and like the thumb was right here and it was so small, so I frogged it. Ribbit, frogged it all. I took it all out. I want these mittens. I want these mittens in that yarn, and I want these mittens to fit me perfectly. So I went back to my knitting store and I bought a new set of needles in a larger size because I wasn't going to change yarn. I wanted that yarn. So I bought a bigger needle size and I recast it on, and I've made it like through the ribbing at the very, very bottom. I haven't even started the color work because of the before stated point. I need to print out my pattern. I need that physical object, I think. And if that doesn't work, I may not be best for color work. I don't know. I'm not going to say that yet because I really, really, really want to be a color work knitter. I really do. I really do. And I'm good at carrying the yarn, both strands on my finger, and I get really good tension and it's really even. It takes so much brain power. Holy cow. So I have just the littlest of cuff of a mitten that has not gotten any love. But did get new needles. And I should say also that the Salbu mitten is by Ellie of Skein Knits, who I am absolutely obsessed with right now. If you have not seen the Skein Knits podcast, you can pause me right now and go over. Because I wouldn't be offended whatsoever because I'm absolutely head over heels in love with Ellie of Skein Knits. Every pattern she designs is just, it's perfect, and they're easy to read, and she is a joy to watch, like a serious joy to watch. I watched all of her Vlogmas. She was the only one I went through the entire Vlogmas series with. And she's just, I want to meet her in real life, you know? I wish, that's the problem with the internet. You make all these wonderful friends and we're so many miles apart. And I know, I'm really just a stalker. She doesn't actually know who I am. She's probably never seen this podcast. But Skein dear, everything you do is gold. And she's so modest. She wonders why she got all these new viewers and why all her patterns are blowing up all over Ravelry. Secret is, she's amazing. How can you not? So, if you haven't checked out Skein Knits, I'm sure I am the last one to inform you. She's been all over everyone's podcasts because she is absolutely amazing. Check her out. But she is also doing a cowl starting in February. It's called Break the Rules Cowl. And so, because I had bought really nice needles for these mittens in a small size and had to switch to a larger size to knit it in the yarn I wanted, I purchased 2 skeins of Cascade 220 worsted weight yarn in these lovely greens. And I'm going to do the mitten in the smaller needles with the bigger yarn because I'm breaking the rules. It doesn't have to be DK. I'm going to test it out. She says it's going to work. I'm going to give it a try. Worst case scenario, I frog it again. But I did purchase these for that. Whenever I get that pattern printed off. Maybe I should make that like on my to-do list, like write a post-it note and stick it on the windshield of my car. Like, you cannot leave work until you've printed this pattern. Because I need now to do 2 mittens. Well, 4 mittens. Things that come in twos, you know? Things that come in twos. So, while we're talking about things that are mystical, magical, and that I've purchased, let's talk about something that I am dreaming of and is coming very close as I sort of put all the pillars in place. I went to my local yarn shop on the weekend because they were having this huge sale. I mean, why not? It seemed like a really great time to go. And I had a gift certificate. And I bought myself something extravagant, also known as an interchangeable needle set. OMG. These are these are the Royal needles by Knitter's Pride. It is a wooden needle, color coded, which is, oh, I love it when they're color coded. And they have metal tips. So for me, they didn't have carbons, which would have been like, yes. And they probably would have been very expensive. And these were a nice price with the discount and my gift certificate that I could actually afford. So they're going to have the warmth and the feel of the carbons with the wood, and they're going to have that metal tip, which I love so much. So I've decided I have to put these to work. I just can't buy a needle set and like look at them. So a little while ago, I had been given a sweater's quantity at the farmer's market of somebody's like old stash. I mean, look at this label. You ready? Hello Vintage. Look at that. So this is Brunswick yarn, which Betsy informs me used to be the only yarn you could get up here. But it's the Brunswick, and it is a Shetland type sport weight yarn. And it says it's super spun in Scotland for Brunswick Worsted Mills Incorporated. Super spun. I don't even know what that means. And I thought I had kind of all the spinning logo down. If you know what super spun is, please let me know. It's virgin wool 100%, and it's this kind of cream color with these little specks of blue, little robin's egg blue specks. And I am going to be casting on a sweater. I'm just going to find a very simple, very free, top-down, knit in the round sweater. I'm going to get my feet wet with something very easy, very straightforward. I did find a pattern on Ravelry that I'm going to try. I'm not gonna commit myself to it yet because I have yet to cast it on. So when I do and I show you the kind of work in progress, I will make sure to tell you the pattern. But this is my dream. I'm going to knit 2 pairs of mittens and a sweater before I see you next time. Oh, and that sock. Big promises. But what can I say? I'm so excited. It's still winter. It's still knitting time. All right. I'm just taking a look what's around me here. Sorry. There's little snuggles over here too. So I think that brings me to the end of this lumped together acquisitions, knitting, projects, finished objects section. So if you were here for just my knitting, we are moving on to Maddfuzzy news. All right, so Maddfuzzy. Oh my goodness. So I put the shop up last weekend, and I can't believe it. I sold more skeins than I ever thought possible. The lead up and the reception of it was outstanding. And if you were one of those people who stopped by and purchased a skein or two, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, sorry, Mike. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. I owe the success of this weekend to you all for tuning in on Facebook, on Instagram, for watching the little video I made all about my yarn that I put on YouTube, the little mini-sode, for purchasing, for liking, for looking, for everything. Thank you. Thank you so much. And because this weekend was such a success, I have a very small update coming up. I'm going to be posting that update on Friday, probably Friday evening. I don't expect, to sell out in an hour, so I'm going to do it on Friday evening. I will be announcing it on the podcast. Not the podcast, sorry. I will be announcing it on my Instagram feed, so kind of keep a lookout for that. It's at Maddfuzzy, as I said before. And I'll do the shop is live. I'm also going to kind of promo the yarns up into the shop because at this moment I really don't have great photographs of them. I haven't reskeined all of them yet, most of them yet. and I'm going to do some great photography of them tomorrow, so keep a lookout on the Instagram for the official va-va-voom photographs. But I'm going to show you the messy little skeins today, and trust me, they will be reskeined for the update. You see that? There was a white dog over there. And also let you know what's kind of down the pipeline, because a lot of things have happened. Oh my goodness. So because I sold so well on Saturday, I felt very confident to go talk to my local yarn shop, which is Heavenly Socks in Belfast, Maine. And I went in and talked to the shop owner there, and she was excited about the nylon content on the wherever base. And so I dyed up some skeins specifically for her, and reskeined them, labeled them real quick, drove them down there yesterday, and she took them all. And yeah, so now there are Maddfuzzy skeins in a retail location in Belfast, Maine, my local yarn shop. I cannot believe it. I'm floored. Like the fact that this being open and it just moving so quickly, and people really enjoying it and purchasing it, not only on the internet but in real life. I guess internet, you know, in like an actual brick and mortar store. It's awesome, but I'm almost out. I have these skeins that I'm going to show you, and I maybe have 5 more skeins. So after the big update, and after everybody supported the shop so well and practically sold me out, I drove straight down to Whitefield, Maine, and skirted fleeces for a day. And I have a lovely video of me skirting fleeces, so I'm going to insert that here so you can kind of see the setup and the high-tech operation of Maddfuzzy yarns. So that'll be here. I hope you enjoyed that. Wasn't that fun? And yeah, and the sheep at the beginning were also her sheep. I took some pictures while I was there. And I made an appointment with my mill in Aroostook. I'm actually driving up there tomorrow with my friend. I've got everything loaded up in bins, and I spent this morning at a new farm, New Beat, which is an organic farm here in Knox. And they are some of the coolest people. I really recommend following them on Instagram. They are New Beat Farm on Instagram, but they're so unique because they do everything by horsepower. And I'm not talking like, you know, how much horsepower does the four-wheeler have? I'm talking like work horses and like standing on the back of a plow, plowing their farm by horse. Yeah, no, it's really cool, worth checking out. But they have BFL, Dorset, some other breed mixes. They've been kind of, they're doing meat sheep, so they're not 100% too concerned about the genetics, but they have created a gorgeous fleece. So I took a couple pounds of that. I'm going to take that up to the mill with me on Tuesday and talk to Andy about maybe a DK weight yarn, and I would sell it in 50-gram skeins in 2 color combinations or individually for colorwork mittens. So I'm going to try to make a yarn that's not only perfect for your feet, which will be the Pure Fuzzy and the Wherever base, but I'm also looking to expand my line into something that's going to be perfect on the hands and perfect in colorwork. So stay tuned. I am so excited. It was super cold in the barn. We worked really fast, so I don't have any footage of us skirting this morning, but I really hope to go back and give you a better view because they had so many sheep. These herds are so large. I'm such a sheep neophyte. You know, oh, you have 2 or 3 sheep. That's a lot of sheep, but we're talking 20 to 30. And I was talking to Jess at Fuzzy Udder when I was there last week, and lambing season is coming. And I said, oh, how many lambs do you think you're going to have? And she goes, 100. I was like, is that a joke? No, and she's like, no, that's not a joke. I'm going to have 100 lambs. 100 lambs. I'm so excited. I'm going to go back. Of course, she's having a party here soon, and as well as her shearing is coming up, so I'm going to be there skirting as we go, try to streamline my production. I'm really hoping to get Maddfuzzy not on like a waiting basis, because I'm not going to get this milling back till late March. Yeah, there might not be a lot of Maddfuzzy news between now and March. So I'm hoping that when I drop this off, I'll drop something else off, and then I'll drop something else off, so that I'm maybe 2 weeks between new fiber coming in. It's all about the money. If I don't have the money, I can't pay the milling. So business. Support Maddfuzzy. Help me with my millings. That's all I got to say about that. But exciting things are coming down the pipeline for my yarn business, and I hope you stay tuned on the Instagram as well as here. All your Maddfuzzy news coming right at you. But you've sat through enough chitter chatter about these beautiful farms and these amazing farmers and yada, yada, yada. So let me show you some yarn, shall we? We are going to have, again, on a Pure Fuzzy base. Most of these are going to be Pure Fuzzy base because Heavenly Socks took all my Wherever base. And if you would like Wherever, please let me know. I can maybe dye you a custom one, or you can see about ordering one from Helen. She has a very similar price to me. In fact, we worked it out, so it was like that. But this is Glacier Lake from last week. Sold very well. Thought I'd dye you some more. I've got more Madame. Don't mind these. They're shower curtain rings. This is how I distinguish between Pure Fuzzy and Wherever, because they feel so similar. So similar. So I have to find a method. So the white ones are Pure Fuzzy, the clear ones are Wherever. But I keep them on there until I actually label them, because if I come off, I will never know. Sorry. Sometimes my camera will get to 30 minutes and just shuts off. But apparently you're not supposed to talk for more than 30 minutes at a time. So we'll try this again. So I have a new colorway in the shop. This one is called Lioness, and it is inspired by Cersei Lannister from the book series and HBO TV series Game of Thrones. I am a huge fan of both the books and the TV, so you'll be seeing quite a few Game of Thrones inspired colorways coming your way. But I am hoping to have a whole line and do little mini skein sets, or maybe even a subscription club. But that also brings me to Stormborn, which is one that I have roughly based, oh, stop focusing on this beautiful face, roughly based on Daenerys Targaryen. That's the blues and the purples and the yellows. Had that one in my shop last update, and it did very well, so I thought I'd dye a little bit more of that. Then I've got this one, which is called The Hunt. It's this lovely foresty kind of greenish tan, red speckles, some blue speckles. I'm the messy skeins. Remember, folks, these all will be reskeined eventually, and they will come to you nice and neat. But for the sake of getting a podcast episode out, bear with me. And then I will also have this new colorway, which I am very excited about. Oh, come on, focus on the yarn. There we go. This new colorway is a light, subtle pink with splashes of hot pink and lime green and some blue and purple. And I am calling this one Stretchy Pants because they thought it reminded me of those wonderful 80s workout pants. So Stretchy Pants will be in the shop. Oh, Stretchy Pants will be in the shop as well. So I'll have a few skeins in there, not as many as the first update, but there are still some in there from the first update. I've got some Latin Beauty, I've got some Punk Scene, I believe there's another skein of My Romanian Friend. So if you don't see those and you are hoping on those, you know, those are there. And they will be joined by all of these. All of these will be on Pure Fuzzy only. So that's the Maddfuzzy news. As far as the yarny goodness, friends, that brings me to the end of all of it. There will be no more sexy skeins parading across the screen today. And so if that's all you came for, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out the podcast, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm just going to chitter-chatter a little bit about my life. I really don't have that much to say. I don't really have much of an update to give you because I have pretty much told you everything that I've been doing in that Maddfuzzy update. I have been running around the state of Maine, filling my Subaru with fiber. Yeah, that's basically it. And I will be driving all that wonderful fiber all the way up north. It's a 3-hour drive. People out in those bigger states on the west coast, down south, the Midwest, 3 hours. It's like from metropolis to metropolis. Here in Maine, that's like the entire state. These small states are silly. So everyone, when I tell them I'm going up north, oh, that's got to be quite the drive. It's 3 hours. That's not too bad. Put on a book on tape. I'll be there in no time. So I'll go up there. I'll have a lovely lunch at the Ashland Diner. I'm going to sit down with Andy and we're going to discuss things like roving. Does that sound fun? These new yarns I'm going to try. And kind of get us on a schedule to be milling. And and I think tonight we're going to have friends over and play more Settlers of Catan. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with that game. It is wonderful. I liked Risk, but I always felt kind of bad like starting a war. But in Settlers of Catan, I can whoop everyone's butt and hoard all the sheep and hoard all the grain and have a wonderful time at it and not come out thinking that I, slaughtered civilians and whatnot in the perils of warfare. So if you haven't checked out Settlers of Catan, I recommend it. It's a very highly recommended game. It's supposed to kind of encourage teamwork, and I like it. So we'll probably play some of that. I went and saw the Super Bowl last night at a local bar. Sat around, drank pitchers, ate their really cheap wings, and left before the end. Once the Eagles looked like they were going to do it, they got that last touchdown, it's bedtime. It's way past my bedtime. They're never coming back. And guess what? They didn't. So the Patriots can't win everything. But I was there cheering them on, drinking beer. That's basically all I have to report. It's been kind of a slow week. Lots of snow, lots of rain, really gross weather. And it's a beautiful day outside now. So I think I'm going to sign off and I'm going to take the girls for a walk up through the property and enjoy not trudging through 3 feet of snow. So I hope you have a wonderful upcoming week. I hope all of your projects go well. I hope all your stitches stay on their needles. And as always, enjoy your knitting. Have a great one. Bye.